Hello, anointed and appointed writer. You have been prepared and positioned for such a time as this. And I've got a fantastic guest today who will share something with you that you may not have thought about before. This is Shelley Hitz, who is from Kingdom Writers, an incredible resource for any Christian who seeks to answer God's call to write a book. But maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel unsure. She's going to clear some things up today with her lesson on the big impact of writing short Kindle books. I invited her on the podcast and the YouTube channel today as well because I wanted to know how to make a big impact by writing short Kindle books. So welcome, Shelley Hitz. So glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nika. And just thrilled to be able to be here to share. When I first published my very first book in 2008, I never dreamed in a million years that I would be mentoring writers like I'm doing today. We started doing that in 2010, but my career as a physical therapist ended 2011, and we've been doing this now full time. So we are just so grateful to be here, and it is a ministry for us. And just can't wait to dive into this topic. So I think a lot of times when writers talk about like writing a book, they think of like the book, right?
Yeah.
The big book, the book that like it's burning and you have all of this. And I love that. Some of you have 50 books that come to mind. Most of you have more than one book, but many times when you start writing and start the whole publishing process, what I've seen, at least with mentoring writers, and you've probably seen this too, Nika, is that it's easy to get overwhelmed. And then it's easy to get analysis of paralysis and get stuck, right? Yes. And so that's where like publishing a short Kindle ebook can be like a quick win. My husband and I were like over $70,000 in debt. We had been missionaries for 2 years in the country of Belize. We came back and we had to start from scratch. And we made some bad decisions and we got back into a bunch of debt. And I learned Dave Ramsey's debt snowball principle. And it's like, start with the smallest one, get that quick win, get the momentum, pay it off, and then roll that on to the next one. Well, we paid off all of that debt. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's like publishing a short Kindle ebook. It's like it gives you some wind beneath your wings. It gives you a quick win. You're able to get your work out there, begin impacting lives, begin earning some income or, growing your platform through calls to action in that book. But you can also use a short Kindle ebook if you're on the other end of the spectrum. So like if maybe you've already published several books like you have, Nika, and now you're thinking, I need to market those books. And so a lot of our Academy members or people that come to us, they're like, Shelley, I love to write, but I don't like to market. I bet you hear that all the time, right?
I hear that all the time, yes.
Nika, would you just do my marketing for me?
That's what they say. We always.
Can I hire you to do my marketing? And that's what a lot of people, they're just like, I just want someone else to do it. I just want to hire someone else. It's just too much. But most of the time, if you're a writer, you're a communicator, like there is something within you that you could put into a short Kindle ebook that could be a introduction to the topic in one of your other books or, your series that you have or the novels that you've written. You could write a short novella. And so if you enjoy communicating, you enjoy writing, why not use that in your marketing efforts? And write a short Kindle ebook to get more visibility and more exposure. And so it's really, it really can be used on either end of the spectrum, whether you're just starting out and you feel stuck and overwhelmed by the whole process and you're still waiting maybe to get a traditional contract, or you're still like, you're still in the weeds of all of the things of self-publishing and you just want to get a quick win, or you're on the other side and you want to use that short Kindle ebook as a marketing asset. So it can be used either way. But my husband and I personally have been doing this for years. And we'll tell people, we've written and published over 70 books. I'm like, whoa. But the truth of the matter is a lot of them are short. And that's why we published so many, is because they're short. But what we found is that people actually like that. Like the 21 Prayers of Gratitude, that is a short ebook. Honestly, it wasn't even it was a gratitude series I published in 2012. I wasn't even planning to publish it. God prompted me. God ideas are always the best ideas, right? But that little book, it's like 66 pages, I think, in print. Or maybe it's 6,600 words. I don't know. It's really small, but it sells really well and people really like it. It's just short, impactful, inspirational, and it's praying scriptures, which is, you can never go wrong with that. But all I'm saying is you don't have to have this big book to make a big impact. And actually, a lot of people like those short win type books as well, because they feel like they're able to sit down, learn something, get through it. And then they can always say, oh, I really like this author. I'd like to see what else they have. Or maybe it gives them a taste and they realize, well, this isn't necessarily for me, but it's a great way for your readers to consume your content. Because let's just face it, 2023, we are overloaded, right?
Yeah.
Overloaded. I'm actually redoing our member area right now. I hired someone to help me because I'm like, oh, I need to simplify the things. But I think when we're thinking about our readers, it really is good. But then it's a quicker win for you to write. So I think almost anyone can finish a short Kindle ebook in 90 days. So I like to set 90-day goals, and it's a quick, easy time frame to set 1 quarter, and you could get it written and published in that amount of time. I've had people do it, like Jennifer Nelson joined Christian Book Academy, and her book was published in 10 days. She just needed the roadmap, right? She just needed the steps to take. She already had the content created. But some people, it's 30 days, it could be 6 months. But when it's a short book, I really think most of you could do it in 90 days. And then it's something that can be out there, either impacting lives, giving you exposure. One of the things I talk about with marketing is, a lot of authors struggle, like, how do I find new readers? Sometimes you just feel like you're talking to the same people on Instagram or Facebook or, your YouTube channel or your podcast, like my email list. Like, I'm talking to the same people over and over again. How do I find new people? And this honestly is the lifeblood of any business, right? Attracting new leads or new people into your space. And so one of the best ways to do that is how I actually started my business was search engine optimization. So all those years ago, it was like 2004. So almost 20 years ago, I started my first website, and I would research phrases people were searching for in Google. And that's how they would find my website. And at the time, I was earning a little bit of money through Google Ads, AdSense program. But it was enough eventually to pay our mortgage. So, it was like, okay, as a little side gig thing, it was good. And then I launched my first website for authors in 2010. And that was how a lot of my first clients found me, was they were searching for certain terms and they would find my blog. Well, did you know that Amazon is a search engine?
I tell my clients all the time, Amazon is a search engine for people. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's one that most people ignore. They think of YouTube, you think of Pinterest, you think of blogging, but you don't often think of Amazon and even Etsy. Etsy can be a search engine too, but people are searching on Amazon every day for your topic, for the things that you've written about. And yet your current books or the books that you have really on your hearts, the titles may not have those words in it. But if you would write a short Kindle ebook, you could put that phrase in the title and, you could really, optimize it for what people are searching for. So years and years ago, I did this, like I said, I first started my business with SEO. So, SEO was just in my blood. And I have a book called Self-Publishing Books 101. Well, guess what? Sometimes, one of the phrases people search for is self publishing books. So I put that right in the title. It's not catchy. It's not clever. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to use that book to, show that I could create the best title. I have another book. It's called Broken Crayon Still Color. That's my best-selling book, and that's a clever title. It's the title God gave me, and people love that title. And, you can do that. That's totally another strategy. But for this specific strategy, you're looking to put the keyword, in the title, hopefully like the main title. But if it just doesn't work there, you could put it in the subtitle. And then when people are searching for that, guess what's, possible for them to find? Your book. And then they'll immediately be like, oh, like it's in the title. Like that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. That's what I'm wanting to find. So you could even combine that with Amazon ads, where Amazon ads, you can target certain phrases and things. So like you could combine both techniques. But one of the things that I love to do with a short Kindle ebook is to create content that is exclusive to Amazon. So it's not content that's on your blog. It's not content that you have in any other like ebook format, so that you can make it exclusive to Amazon and their Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP Select program. Because then what you can do is every 90 days, you can offer that short Kindle ebook that you created. You can offer it for free, and you can offer it for free up to 5 days. And there are a ton of different websites that have gathered all the readers. They have lists and lists of readers. And so what you can do is you can submit to some of those sites and say, hey, I have a book. It's going to be free on this day. Or you can even lower your book to 99 cents. And there's certain sites that will promote a 99-cent book. Some sites will ask you to pay an advertising fee, but some sites will just do it for free because that's part of their business. Is they're looking for good books to promote. You are able to get in front of a lot of new people that way too. So not only are you on the free list on Amazon, and you can rise up their free list rankings pretty quickly, but you're also have the potential to get promoted by all of these other sites for people who are looking for free books. And what I love about this is it's like kind of like a lead magnet, free content that you put out there on YouTube, or it's just another way to let people know you exist in the sea of other people.
So that strategy with having it free for 5 days every 90 days, it has to be exclusive in Amazon in order to be able to do that.
Yeah. And so that's why it's good to just, when you're thinking about this strategy, to really pray about it and ask God, first of all, like, is there like a topic that leads into your other offerings, your other books, your other courses, or whatever else you offer that kind of is a good lead in? And then another strategy I've done is I've taken a part of a bigger book and published it as a small Kindle ebook, right? As a standalone, because there were sections in, we have a book called Forgiveness Formula. My grandma was murdered when I was 8 years old, and God has taken me through this incredible path of healing from forgiveness. And I've struggled with the addiction to pornography, and so I had to forgive myself. And there's all these things that I learned through counseling, and so my husband and I actually wrote this book. But there's section at the back, trusting God when bad things happen, and it kind of was getting lost in that whole big book. And I felt like God led me one time to pull that piece out, and now it's a standalone book on its own too. But I could not promote that book as exclusive on Amazon if that content, from my bigger book is on all the other platforms, Barnes & Noble, Nook, Kobo, because that content's already out there in an ebook format in another location. That's why I say, I think anyone can write a short Kindle ebook. I mean, if you've written books, you're a communicator, you have more in you, I think. And just like we blog and we do all these other things, like there's something in you that you can create just for this strategy.
So many thoughts
Yeah.
in your head. This is really interesting. So here's a question I have. With
Yeah.
a standard length book, if you don't have it as an ebook anywhere else, would you then be able to have a standard length book? Because there are several of my clients who have a standard length book, perhaps, but this would be new, making it an ebook on Amazon exclusively. Would that be permissible, do you think?
So as long as the content isn't available anywhere else in ebook format. So
Ebook. Okay.
it can be a print book, it can be audiobook, it can be other, it can even be other languages. Like my book, 21 Prayers of Gratitude, I had that translated into Spanish at one point. And it's okay to have that available in Spanish, even on other platforms and all the things, but it can't be the ebook format.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So was that 21 Prayers of Gratitude, was that your first Kindle ebook? Was that the first one you did? What was the first one you did?
No. Well, the first book that I had, and so it was also my first Kindle ebook, is a book for teen girls. That's how I got into publishing. I was a speaker before I was an author, and in ministry with my husband, we were working with teens. And the girls would come up and they would want counseling and they would want to talk to me because I share my heart. I share about all the things that I've been through. And I just never had time. You know how it is, Nika, when you're speaking, like you wish you could just spend hours with every person. And so I started writing website articles to answer their questions. And then those website articles became my first book, Mirror, Mirror, Am I Beautiful? Yeah. And so then that was my first also ebook. But in 2012, after I quit my job with physical therapy, we were in an RV. We thought we were going to travel around the country being speakers at Christian schools and camps and, churches and all the things. And God, just allowed all the speaking engagements to stop. We're in the RV. I'm like, God, I quit my job, right? And it was January 1st of 2012. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We were in the little trailer of we were in Florida at the time in the RV. So we went to visit my grandparents where they were at. And I checked my email and there was a course on publishing Kindle ebooks. And I was like, ooh, we've published a few books by that point. But it was just more we probably gave away more than we sold, to be honest. But I was like, oh, I have nothing but time right now. So I asked my husband, I think it was a $77 course, best $77 course I ever took in my life. So then that year we went on to write and publish 23 books. And the very first, group of like short Kindle ebooks that I published, I actually have unpublished them since because I'm no longer in that niche. But at the time we were eating vegetarian. And so I created all these vegetarian cookbooks. And I had one on lunches, one on appetizers, one on dinners, and they were all these little short Kindle ebooks, right? And there were 7 of them in this series. And then I had one book that had everything in it. And so that was really how we got launched into this whole thing of the short Kindle ebooks. But we really started to see that it would catch on. And we started earning thousands of dollars in royalties from our books that year. And God sustained us through those, royalties. Because it was like, what are we going to do? But yeah, we started there. And then, later that year, I did my gratitude series. And so I have one that's a 21-day challenge, a 21 days of prayers, and then 21 stories, which is an anthology, which that's another great marketing idea is, gather the other people in your niche, the other people that are writing, have them participate, and then we all promoted it, right? We all shared about it. And then my other books are promoted in the back of that book. And then those 3 books became a bigger book. So, there's just so many ways that you can use short Kindle ebooks. But those are just a few of the things that we've done.
Wow. Now I want to ask, why did you unpublish? You said you were no longer in the vegetarian niche. So I'm still curious, but why did you unpublish them?
I know they were earning money, so why would I do that, right? I started working with a coach in 2014, and I'm multi-passionate. Like I could have a business in like 7 different things right now.
It sounds like it. You're so talented. As I hear all of your different interests, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm an artist, and I've taught art to people. I have fitness and, certifications. I, do the writing coaching and the writing and all of the things. But in 2014, I hired my first business coach. And she's like, Shelley, just write down everything that you're doing. And even at that time, it was like 7 different things. Like I was helping people promote their books. I had a site where I would do that. And then like I had all of these different things. And she's like, Shelley, this is why your business isn't growing. It's because you're trying to do too many things. And I want you to choose really one thing to focus on. And as I prayed about it, the one thing that we really decided to focus on was coaching writers. And so our website, trainingauthors.com, was born. And we started the Academy in 2015. And so it's been 8.5 years that I've had the membership in the Academy. And I went off all sorts of little rabbit trails along the way. It's still my multi-passionate self. But the one thing that keeps coming back, that we keep coming back to, is helping writers. I just can't shake it. It's like I've tried to quit several times. I don't know if you've been there, Nika, but
Yeah.
I actually tried to sell the business twice and it just never worked out. And the Lord has given me renewed passion for it and new ideas so that, we could continue to help the people that we are.
First of all, I wish I had found you back in 2014. You said you hired a business coach in 2014. Will you please tell the viewers and listeners why you chose to work with a business coach and what that did for you?
Yeah, I think sometimes you're just too close to what you're doing. And at that time, I'd been doing some sort of side business online for 10 years. We were now doing this full time, and I just wasn't seeing the momentum in the growth that I wanted to see. And so I decided to make an investment. And at the time, it was like a big investment for me. And I can't even remember if it was $497 or $997. Like now that doesn't seem as much, but it was a lot. Like at the time, we're literally living
Time is a lot.
like day to day. We would transfer from PayPal, at the grocery store to get cash back just to pay this bill. Like we were just like, God has sustained us the whole time. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs and we've both been doing this since 2011, but it was a huge investment, but the Lord led me to do it. And I think having that outside voice and somebody that's not right on top of what you're doing, like, I think I was just like in survival mode at the time. And I was just like, okay, we just have to pay the bills. Like, how do I even do this? And then having an outside voice come in and look at my business and say, okay, Shelley, you're trying to do 7 different things. Let's focus on one. And to be like, oh, I am, And recently I hired somebody that specialized in story brand, marketing and branding. And she was helping me with my sales pages. And, it's like, she's like, there's too many words. And I'm like, there are. And, it's like, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees, right? Like you're just too close to it. I've had this membership for 8.5 years and the sales pages are just evolved, but I just needed that outside input to help me see what I could not see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted listeners to hear that because there was a time when I didn't even know working with a coach would benefit. Like, I don't know why I didn't even know what it was or anything. Yeah. My whole life changed when I started working with a coach. And that's basically what you and I do is we're coaching authors to see what they can't see. And so for anyone who just feels like, I don't know what I'm doing, I just want help. I mean, there is a lot of help available to you. And I encourage you to reach out to Shelley or reach out to me, either one and or any coach who can help you, because Shelley and I both agree that was a big game changer when we were willing. And part of that is stepping in humility and saying, okay, because when we are being a business person and books are a business, you're a business person. If you're an author, books are a business. Yeah. So if you're, wondering, well, you feel like sometimes that you have to show up and do it by yourself. Like, I have to prove that I can do this and prove that I can figure it out. And it's like, why? That's pride. Mm-hmm. Let somebody walk alongside you. Yeah. You don't reinvent the wheel. Here I am just, in this space with Shelley today, and I'm learning from her. I mean, we have to walk in humility and say, teach me something new, because I haven't considered using short Kindle ebooks as a strategy. And so I, of course, wanted to learn that. So we all can continue learning.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think that, when I do that, like I felt like the pressure lifted off and like I feel supported. It's like, oh,
Yes.
I'm not in this by myself. And I think a short Kindle ebook it can be very inexpensive to publish as well. So you don't have to break the bank. It don't have to, because it's shorter words. It's going to be shorter to edit. You can either hire someone, or with a short Kindle ebook, there's a lot of software out there that you can use. You can learn to use, and you could even format it yourself if you don't mind a little bit of that. But you can hire someone for very inexpensive to format it for you. The ebook cover, you only need the front cover for an ebook. So you don't need the full back cover spine. So it's cheaper to hire someone to create that front cover for you. And, you just are overall like, oh, you don't need an ISBN. So normally you have to pay for the ISBN, but Kindle ebooks don't need them. They are assigned ASINs. So
If it's through Amazon,
yeah,
it's through Amazon alone.
yes.
But if it's through other, you do need an ebook ISBN if it's through other platforms. But I do know that if you do it through KDP,
yeah,
you don't need to pay for an ISBN. Yeah.
yeah. And the strategy I'm teaching today is about being exclusive to Amazon.
Exclusive to Amazon, right.
Yeah, so you wouldn't need to purchase that. So it makes it very affordable as a marketing strategy, pretty quick to get out. And, like I said, a lot of us have content in our minds. One time I sat down and I just, wrote out the process in a mind map. I like mind maps sometimes to outline my books and on how to publish a Kindle ebook. So I was going to teach on that. And I recorded myself doing it because I was a speaker before. I was a writer. I'm a verbal processor, even though I'm an introvert. I know I'm weird, but
Uh-huh.
but I can do that. My husband's he needs to process through writing. But I just sat down. I recorded an hour because I just know it so well. I know the process so well. So it was an hour recording. I had that transcribed, and it became a 12,000 word book. Not really that hard. I mean, writing is always hard, right? I mean, it's like it's a challenge to put ourselves out there. But what I want to encourage you is like these short Kindle ebooks, they can be around 10,000 words. It just doesn't have to be this huge production, but it needs to be quality information, something that people are really wanting, and something that can lead in to your other things. So you want to make sure you have a call to action to your email list in the front, in the back. And where it's appropriate, don't make it spammy, right? You don't want to like every other sentence, like, come join my program or do my thing or what. So you really be like, that's the only reason they published this book. Put it in where it's natural. But it can be less expensive than some other marketing things that we think we need to do, and yet it can sometimes be even more effective. I mean, I can't guarantee certain results. Amazon, and all of the things, it's always changing. But when you're writing a short Kindle ebook, you're reaching readers, right? And readers like to read books. And so it's a good chance that you could find more people in your tribe. So I hope that this has been encouraging to your audience.
100%. I have one more logistical question.
Yes, for sure.
When you pay a designer or for formatting, does the material have to be submitted to KDP in a specific form, like a specific way that
normally with an ebook, it's going to be an EPUB file, but they used to use MOBI files, MOBI, and I think those will still work, but they're, I think, transitioning now to where they're having you do an EPUB. But Kindle actually has its own software that's free. It's called Kindle Create. And you could actually use that. You could use that for free, put your text in there, and they will format it in the file format that you need. Now, if you would need it, and then you can upload that. So if you would need it in another format at another time, then you would just need to I would have one like main Word or Google Doc or whatever that has the final draft. So if you would ever need to put that in another format, if you decide to do it later, that you have that. Some of our books were only Kindle ebooks, and then they sold so well, like our gratitude series. I'm like, oh, I should put these in print, and then
Yeah.
I should put these in audio. Like if your books are selling really well as a Kindle ebook, it's a good sign that people want that information. They might want it in another format. So then I took that book, and so it's also a way to test ideas. And
Right.
you can put it out there. It's not very expensive to do. And then if it takes off, you can put the money into it to do, print is a little more expensive, but then you can do that later if you want.
That is great news. You
Yeah.
just came here today and just lit up our hearts, because just a little bit of hope goes a long way. And for you to make a quick and easy path for someone who's been laboring on, like you said, the book of their dreams, maybe they've been laboring on that for a while. It's like, hey, what if part of that or an offshoot of that, or kind of like a precursor to that, would succeed as a short Kindle ebook? That's an amazing idea. I'm excited to see what people do with it. Because now that everyone has heard this, I hope we will all take action and do something with it. How can people get in touch with you, or find other ways to grow with the resources that you have prepared for writers?
Yeah. So if you enjoy podcasts, our Kingdom Writers podcast is a great place to connect. Been doing that almost 8 years. We're coming up on our 8th year anniversary of that podcast too. But I would love to connect with you there. And then our signature membership, Christian Book Academy, and we can really walk you through these steps of publishing a Kindle ebook if that's something you want to do. Like I said, some of our members, they publish within a couple weeks. Some of them, it's like 6 months, 30 days. Like it's all different. But, I really believe that any of you, once you have the plan, and we share who you can hire and, just all the different things. We've been doing this a long time. So Christian Book Academy, and the link will be in the description or the show notes below, and you can check that out.
Awesome. Oh, it's been such a pleasure, Shelley. And I pray blessings over you and over all the authors you help, because really there aren't enough Christian voices today. People who are new writers think, oh, hasn't this already been written? Aren't there enough Christian books out there? No, there aren't. We need more. We need more. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for sharing with my audience today.
Yeah, thank you so much. You are a bright, shining light, and we just appreciate you so much, Nika.